One thing you can do as a bookkeeper is keep an eye on the client's records each month. And if you see a new vendor pop up, even if it hasn't reached the threshold yet, perhaps ask for a W-9. Welcome to Jenna Frog's Bookkeeping Lily Pad, your cozy corner of the podcasting world, where numbers tell a story and bookkeeping blossoms into an adventure. My name is Rachel Barnett, and I'm glad you're here. This podcast is for bookkeepers who enjoy authentic, unfiltered, and always encouraging friend to talk shop with. We will be discussing what it's like to own and operate a small bookkeeping business. I'm recording this podcast episode in the middle of February. The reason I mention that is we've just wrapped up January. If you're a bookkeeper like me, you're going to look back on your January, or hopefully look back and ask yourself, what went well and what can I fix for next year? I just had a call with my bookkeeping friends where we had this discussion, and a lot of what we talked about for January was the W-9 1099 issue. One of the things that went well for me, or that I'm happy that I've done, is that I've made 1099 processing an add-on fee. It's something that is not automatically included in my bookkeeping services. If somebody would like me to do 1099s, there's an onboarding or a setup fee, and then there's a processing fee for each of the 1099s that need to get processed. There's lots of ways you can structure this. You can build it into the cost of your monthly bookkeeping. You can do an onboarding plus a per filing fee like I do. You can choose to just do a per filing fee. My recommendation, if you do just a per filing fee, is to really think about if that's going to work or going to make sense. My concern for you is that you might end up spending 2 hours looking through a QuickBooks file to identify which vendors need a 1099, and then maybe you charge $20 or $50 per fee. If you take the price per form divided by the couple hours you spent working on preparing, you might realize that you're making close to minimum wage, which is okay, but not ideal. If you're in a position where you like your 1099 processing, but you're looking at the workflow thinking that was very stressful and very frustrating, then I would encourage you to take a step back and have a conversation with yourself about what part of it was hard. For me, the hardest part has always been getting the W-9s. My clients don't always understand that it's important to get a W-9 when you pay for services. Get that W-9 as you're paying for the services, not later, not in December, not in January, but right in the moment would be really great. One thing you can do as a bookkeeper is keep an eye on the client's records each month. And if you see a new vendor pop up, even if it hasn't reached the threshold yet, perhaps ask for a W-9. Asking for a W-9 can be done in a variety of ways. You can use a system like Track 1099 or Tax 1099, or even Keeper has something built in where you can request W-9s. Sometimes one of the problems is that clients don't really understand what a 1099 is and why they should care. They might be familiar with payroll taxes and the related forms. Surely they're going to know about the federal form that they file, the 1040. Maybe there's forms that they have to file for their city or state, but the 1099s don't get as much love and attention. One thing you might do is just send out a quarterly reminder to your clients, something you can slip into an existing newsletter or an existing email. Something that just says, hey, just wanted to remind you, in January, we need to start preparing these forms. If you're not familiar with it, here's a brief introduction. Nothing too complicated or overwhelming, just a reminder to people so that it's not a brand new discussion when you bring it up in December or January. Other lessons and things that I'm happy that I thought about in advance before going into December and January, I'm really glad that I blocked off the last 2 weeks or so of December on my calendar. For people with kids, this is often when your kids are off from school, so it's a good chance to hang out and do family stuff. For people like me without kids, it's a phenomenal time to work on my puzzles and my sewing. If you block this time off for yourself now, whenever you're listening to this, you will then come into December with the time blocked off. That means that you will not have scheduled things for yourself, clients will not have self-scheduled, and you'll have a buffer before the chaos of January. Just because you blocked it off, you can absolutely unblock it. I like giving future me a present. Here's 2 weeks with no obligations. 2 weeks that you can work on course content, reviewing those courses you've bought and not opened and not finished. You can spend the time crafting. You can watch Netflix, whatever it is that makes your heart sing, so that when January rolls around, you're refreshed and ready to go. I'd love to hear from you guys. Is there anything that you did last December that you're glad you did, or anything you did in preparation for January? Is there anything you're going to do different for preparation for January next year? If you have ideas that you'd like me to share with the group or for anybody listening to the podcast, I'd love to hear them. We're all in this together in that we all have businesses. We all want to see ourselves succeed without getting super stressed out. And we want to see our friends and colleagues succeed without getting super stressed out. So I'm happy to share any ideas that I come up with. And I'm happy to share any ideas that you come up with. Thanks. Bye.